Hey Parks, it's Jared. Here's your video lesson for the week. I want to go ahead and review the items for you to practice on here. So let's go ahead and get started. I would say for a few minutes when you're practicing, let's go ahead and start with our warm-up, where we're going to do it here with the first, second, and third fret. Stick on the first string for right now, where we're going to play open, first finger, first fret, second finger, second fret, third finger, third fret, again, third finger, third fret, second finger, second fret, first finger, first fret, and back open. Point of this is to get your fingers nice and warmed up, get those movements going. Also, we want to do it with that metronome app that you downloaded a few weeks ago. So I'm going to demonstrate. I want you to work up on here to a goal of 120 beats per minute. It might be reversed when you're looking on here, but 120 beats per minute is what I want you to try to get to. So remember, we're playing every note gets 4 beats on the metronome. So let me demonstrate what the 120 beats per minute sounds like. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. First finger, 2, 3, 4. Second, 2, 3, 4. Third, 2, 3, 4. Again, third, 2. So that's at 120 beats per minute. I want you to work up to that. Start at 60 or 70 beats per minute. Start slow, making sure you feel comfortable with whatever you're at. I would say once you feel comfortable, move up 5 to 10 beats per minute. So start at 60 or 70, move up a little by little, and I want you just by our lesson next Tuesday, see if you can get it to 120. If you can't get it quite at 120, try to shoot for 110. But I think you can do 120. You were doing really good with it. Those notes are sounding good, especially here. I know that was one you were having trouble with when you were starting out. So it's sounding good. Just keep practicing with that. It's a great way to warm up and get your left and right hand working together pretty well. So that's one thing I want you to start with. Always start with the warm-ups. The next thing to practice here is the chords. I mentioned down here we want to kind of start working to get our fingers moving between chords. So I want you to put a little bit of time into that, and that's going to be between the A minor chord. And that's the one that we have an open 5th string with our second finger here on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret 3rd string here with our 3rd finger, and with our 1st finger here on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and open, and an open 1st string. So that's A minor. And I mentioned this during our lesson. I know we're kind of wrapping up at the time. Switch from that to a C. That's that C chord. That's where we have our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, 5th string. 2nd finger is right here on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. We're going to have an open 3rd string. Our 1st finger here is on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And an open 1st string. And we don't play on either of those chords, we don't play this low 6th string. So what I want you to practice is going from one, and again, speed is not an issue. It's more so to get the fluid motion going, and if it happens to be slow, that's fine. We always start slow before we go fast here when we're learning guitar, new stuff. And the beauty of this change is you only have to move one finger, and that is your 3rd finger right here. So what I want you to try to do is try to keep these two, your 2nd finger and your 1st finger, as steady as possible when switching between these chords. Don't try to move them, and try to only move this 3rd finger here. And we're going to be moving it. That one's going to be here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string when we're playing the A minor. And it's going to be the low bass note here when we're playing our C chord. That is going to be switched to the 3rd fret of the 5th string when we play C. So to demonstrate, that's A minor. Let's move just this one finger over here to a C chord. Now we're going to move everything, just that 3rd finger back here to the 3rd string. That's A minor. Let's move it back here to the 5th and 3rd fret. So I want you to practice that. Go really slow. That C chord was sounding great when you were playing it. It sounded fantastic this week. Really clear. All the notes were coming through very nicely. Nothing was being muted with that. It was sounding really good. So practice that and getting between what we can switch between. At this point, I'm not even worried about it going fast. If it takes a while for you to get that finger down and everything nice and clean when you play those chords, that's cool. That's no big deal. So we'll just work at it a little bit by there from that. So I want you to also practice that. That's just switching between an A minor to a C chord. All right. Next thing I want you to also practice, let's do it again here, just like we were doing this past week. And that's just we've been working on this one the last couple weeks, just kind of getting used to the rhythm pattern. And they're sounding really good where we go, in the case of A minor and C, where we are playing the 5 top strings, where we aren't just playing the low, where we go 5, 4, strum, 5, 4, strum. In the case of the D chord, which is the one right here, that's one that you would go 4, 3, strum, 4, 3, strum. And much like we do with our warm-ups, let's use the metronome on here. I think we can get them sounding really good at 80 beats per minute. So let me demonstrate that. I'll do it with the D chord on here. So let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3. I think you can do that one easily. I don't think that's a problem. Try to shoot for 80 beats per minute on the metronome. So let's go ahead and shoot for that. Just so you can get it solidly, constantly, without having to stop. Almost like it's just automatically loops on there. If you feel more comfortable doing that with the C chord or A minor, that's fine. I would say pick whichever one you feel more comfortable with and do that exercise with that chord. And that's just going to get us moving a little quicker here with our rhythms. And I think it'll be a good way. Your chords are sounding good. Your fingers are getting stronger at holding those down. So I would say that's going to be a good way to get the right hand going with an actual function as far as picking. And also make sure that we get those left hand fingers a little stronger when holding the chords. They're sounding better every time you come by, man. So keep it up. Keep working on it. The one last thing here I want you to practice as well. Let's go ahead and I'll show you here the notes for, again, the melody of the song. Right now, I'm not crazy about having to play it like we did with the YouTube video, having to go exactly in rhythm. I want to more so just get your fingers used to the motion of the notes that we're going to be practicing on here. So just to recap, those notes for the verse that we've learned so far, that starts here with the 3rd finger on the 7th fret. Again, my guitar has an extra dot here on the 3rd, so you can ignore that. I know yours starts here on the 5th. So again, don't go by this. This is the 5th fret, this is the 7th fret. We're going to take our 3rd finger on the 5th string. We're going to start with that. And the reason I emphasize to use your 3rd finger for this is so we don't have to move our hands when we play the next note here on the 5th fret, 4th string. Sorry, I'll get that. When we go. So we can leave our hands here in this position until we had to slide down a little later in the verse riff. So it's going to start here. 3rd finger, 7th fret of the 5th string. We go 1 string up to the 4th string. 5th string, 4th string. 5th string, 7th fret, 4th string, 5th fret. Those are the first 2 notes. Then we go back to our original note on that 7th fret of the 5th string. I hurt my... Remember, we're going to put... these are basically the words of the song, so we'll put the lyrics to it. I hurt my, and then from there the next one we play is back to the 5th fret, this time on the 5th string. So the same string we're using as our first note. I hurt myself. I hurt myself. Again, I'm not too concerned with the rhythm. You can go super slow. Okay. I hurt myself. Then we can slide down here to the 3rd fret on the 5th string. That's 2. I hurt myself. 2. Then we go back up to our original note, and I would suggest same thing with the 3rd finger to play it. Okay, that's that very first part. I hurt myself today, and you're gonna have to excuse me, I'm not good with the lyrics. So the next one that we just learned before we wrapped up this past week, that next part of the verse, the next one starts on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So I can still feel, I think it goes. If that isn't it, I'm sorry. But we start with that note, then we go up a string on the same fret to the 5th string, and we play that twice. See, I'm even moving my hand very little because it's right. You don't have to move your finger on the left very much. So I think that's what it is. 1, 2. Then with our 3rd finger, again, so we don't have to shift right here. With the guitar, we try to even though we do shift our hands, we try to make our fingers do most of the movement so we don't have to shift as much. So the idea is to shift as little as possible. So that's why I would suggest right here using the 3rd finger here on this 5th fret. If you feel more comfortable using your 1st, that's okay. Again, it's really whatever's most comfortable for you. I just find it most beneficial is to use it where you can keep your hand in position and use your fingers to do the movements as opposed to moving your hand as much as possible. We do have to make a movement here up to this 7th fret at the end of this. I'll show you when we get there, but that's just a little tip I would suggest. Try to keep your hand as still as possible and use our fingers here to do the movements as opposed to actually moving the hand. So back to that. Let's go ahead again. That's where we're here. We play it twice on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. We're going to go up 2 frets to the 5th fret on the 5th string. Same thing, play it twice. So just to recap. And our last note, back to the original note of that loop. On the 7th fret of the 5th string. I'll do the entire thing again here for you. All right, so practice that. Get the fingering down of playing the notes. We'll work on the rhythm as we go, as we can work on that this week. We'll go again with the metronome, really slow. But I would say just get your fingers used to doing those movements, and the rhythm will come as we keep practicing that. But try to get each of those notes sounding really clean. You're doing a good job with it this week. I would say just keep doing that, keep practicing. You're doing good, man. Just keep at it. Your fingers, I know they're getting destroyed right now, but it's a part of the journey of the guitar player. It's a great time. It's almost like a badge of honor as you get it, and you'll start sounding even better every week the more you practice. Remember, practice, 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 man. So yeah, that's really those things I want you to focus for this week. I know we're going to do 2 lessons a week on Tuesday and then on Thursday. So we'll see where we are on Tuesday, how things are coming along, and we can kind of adjust and we can make a plan for Thursday as well. But let's go ahead and work on those items there. If you have any questions, shoot me a email, or you can even shoot me a text, man. I'll put my number there in the email. And that is that. You have yourself a good weekend, dude, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.